Morning, everyone. My name is Ben Allen. I'm the Executive Director of the UVA Equity Center. I thank you for joining us all here this morning. Special thanks to our hosts here at the Jefferson School and Executive Director Andrea Douglas. We're greatly appreciative of us welcoming us all here. We're pleased to have you here for this important time. This time is a moment, but represents over a year of hard work and collaboration in the city of Charlottesville, the county of Albemarle, and the University of Virginia. Today, we will share updates on the launch of Project Safe Neighborhoods in our Charlottesville-Albemarle community and get some in-depth information about one important way that we plan to bring in some of our community members. PSN is about community-driven solutions. We know that true safety comes from the bonds that we create within our neighborhoods and the ways that we support one another. It comes from knowing your neighbors and having access to resources and feeling empowered to make positive decisions. And importantly, it comes from building trust. Trust between individuals, trust between organizations, and trust between institutions. To get us started with our remarks, I'd like to invite Amelia Brown to remind us of why we are here today.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Amelia Brown, and I'm born and raised in Charlottesville, and I'm now a sophomore at Roanoke College. Although it is the second week of classes, I took a train back home last night in order to be here to talk with you this morning. I'd like to start by telling you a little about me. I'm the third child of 5. I was primarily raised by a single mom and spent most of my childhood living in Garrett Square where I attended city schools. Growing up, my mom didn't allow us to play in the neighborhood. She knew there was gang activity where we lived, so she tried her best to keep us isolated from the violence. Looking back, the act of keeping us safe is partially why I think my brothers sought freedom. My brothers wanted to be like the older guys who were up to no good. They sneak out of the house, skip school, smoke, and eventually got involved with guns. My mom recognized and tried to prevent these problems with what she knew to do. She would remove the guns and new guns would reappear. At first, the guns were just something cool to have, but eventually the novelty wore off and the kids progressed to shooting. The problems became so constant with my brothers that my mom and other mothers in the community eventually lost control. Due to my brother's gang involvement, my family lost our housing 3 times in 3 years during my time in high school. I had to switch schools and build new relationships with friends and teachers. My mom is currently unemployed and she constantly cycles between accepting jobs and losing jobs. Maintaining employment is difficult when you always call out of work for court appearances or issues with your children's behavior. My family constantly worries for their safety for fear of retaliation. Mental health is also a struggle, and it's difficult to find resources and transportation to appointments. These resources also tend to have a long wait time, and families in crisis usually need immediate assistance. Without connections and knowledge of how to navigate the system, families are unaware of potential help that might be available to them. By the time my mom was able to obtain help, it was almost too late. Intervention in these communities earlier will help children and families to receive assistance they need to be functional.
I'm honored to speak to you today about what Project Safe Neighborhoods, or PSN as we call it in my office, means for our community. PSN is a national program that is sponsored by the Department of Justice that builds upon evidence-based violence reduction initiatives to address serious gun crime and community violence. Project Safe Neighborhoods is centered around 4 key pillars. The first is community engagement. The second is prevention and intervention. The third is strategic enforcement. And the fourth is accountability. Community engagement, this pillar focuses on fostering trust and collaboration between law enforcement and community members. The second pillar is prevention and intervention. Prevention and intervention that aims to address the factors that contribute to crime before they escalate. The next pillar, strategic enforcement, to maximize the effectiveness of law enforcement resources while minimizing harm to communities. And the final pillar is accountability. We must demonstrate that the resources we are expending and the strategies we are using are making a difference in benefiting that community as a whole. Toward that end, one key component that we are launching here in the coming weeks in this community, in this region, is what we refer to as call-in meetings. These meetings are designed to offer support, resources, and connection to community members who may be at risk or facing challenges that could lead to violence. The meetings will bring together service providers, caring community members, law enforcement, and other social support to connect those called in with resources that can help them choose alternative paths. Things like access to education, job training, mental health support, all the things that can help someone build a better future for themselves.